There we go. All right. I'm gonna make sure I move my arrow up so when Ashley pops in, I can just hit accept. Yeah, so basically, have you guys watched online and like kind of, okay. I don't want to just assume that everybody like watches the whole thing, like start to finish. As you guys know, it does stream live, for the 9:30 and 11:15. Precious, you guys are kind of like us at Richmond. Every other location, I think, is at one service, but not necessarily at those times. So basically it goes off the Fred schedule. And now that we have an 8 o'clock, we don't stream the 8 o'clock early morning service. Just the 9:30 and 11:15 live from Spotsy. And little back context with that, when COVID happened, and I was probably like many of you 1,000 times because we are this way, right? Okay, God, what is it? What do you have for me? I know there's something I'm supposed to be doing besides just being wife, mom, all the things. And COVID happened, and I get a phone call. Hey, we want to try this whole online hosting thing. Would you be interested? And so the history of it was TJ Williams and I, and it was silly. We just literally did things to keep people engaged. At that point, everybody was literally stuck at home. And so we did everything from pie in the face. We had a pre-show, a welcome, and next steps back then. And it was very much scripted. Well, by scripted, I mean like, yeah, it was just kind of like, this is what we want you to say. Not as pastoral, not as, personal, just very like, here we go. Okay, guys, see you next week. Literally right back here online. Then the world started opening up, and obviously TJ had to campus pastor. He had to get back to doing his thing at Spotsy. And actually Birch and I were still technically on team at Fred at that time. And so when we went back in person, it was kind of no brainer. And I would just, tag team with different people, co-hosting, still very much entertaining and at, the Fred vibe, very like broadcast. Um, and then, we actually decided we went to Spotsy. And so of course that gave the opportunity for it to stream from Spotsy, which is great. I mean, if you've been to Spotsy, it just feels obviously, and Fred does too now that we painted walls a little brighter, but just a little airier. And, so I think just naturally when we moved to Spotsy, our vibe just naturally shifted a little more. And actually, Ashley, when you watch this later, I'm going to actually literally, I stole this from her. We call it like the virtual foyer. It went from like Life Point News, because I don't even think we had news back then. It was literally just us. We were the news. And it went from like very broadcaster to like, this is what we're doing and we're goofy to like very more relational. And, so with Spotsy, it was for a really long time just me, doing it, which was fine. I love it. I mean, literally, I love doing it. I was there with my family. And we killed the pre-show. We realized like nobody's watching the pre-show. I mean, it's kind of like church. Who's showing up to church 25 minutes early, right? And so it was really just the thought was that we are not campus pastors, but we operate in a sense to help people know that even online, there's a next step. And that's basically our role. And you probably, when you watch online, especially if it's been recently, hopefully you get that sense that yes, we are online, but no matter where you are watching from, we believe that if you let us know, text LC online, whatever the prompt is, we can help you take a next step. And so, yeah, the context then is that again, we moved to Richmond. And so then I was like, well, I'm not driving the Spotsy with like, we were doing that for a year, but when it was like, I was like, I'm not doing that by myself. So I, obviously lovingly told the team, actually, I took some time off from OEX, actually, believe it or not. There was a season where I felt like it was kind of, and I'm very transparent. I felt like it was the ugly stepchild. I felt like it wasn't getting the attention it needed. And I felt like I was like, until y'all figure out what you want this to be, I took a couple months to just let it simmer. And then when I came back, obviously when we went to Richmond, I just told them, I said, I love it. I absolutely love being a part of this, but it's just a non-negotiable. I'm not going to not be with my family on Sundays. And so we started kind of brainstorming. Okay, so like, how do we do this? What do we want to do? And I didn't want to not be a part. And so I basically volunteered to coach whoever the host would be at Spotsy. And, God always, nothing happens by happenstance. It was really honestly the best thing. I needed to be a coach in that season. I needed to let other people shine. We made the bench real deep. We had I think it was something like 16 people that I was communicating with, giving opportunities. We were scheduling them. We had people co-hosting. I don't know if you guys remember, it was usually 2 people, which it was fun. And that worked for, some people. For some people, that was hard. And, we just kind of prayed on it. And this coming year, right around Christmas time, we decided that we were going to extend the invitation to the host that we felt, you could just tell. Like, this wasn't just because we asked them and we're Life Point and people are like, yeah, sure. What do you need? It was more like they love this. This is their, like, every time I would connect with them, they had a story. They're praying for online viewers. Like, this was their thing. And so we extended that invitation. And how I got to play a role is, they figured out a way to incorporate me on the 4th Sunday from Richmond. And so this is important because this is what I do now is what your Sunday is going to look like when we do bring the online experience to you guys. And so what I had, the vision I had cast to Brittany and a couple other people when I had convinced them to come to me in Richmond was, I wanted viewers to see that we weren't just, there's Ashley. Let's see if my arrow will open. Here we go. Yes, we did it. I wanted people to see, hey girl, that we aren't just permanent buildings, right? Like, we are one house, many rooms. And what's up, Ashley?
Hi, so sorry. I was helping Sam and I totally
Girl, you're fine.
forgot I
And I'm
had a
recording it
time.
too.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good, girl. It's after hours. I'm
Okay,
recording.
great.
So.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm recording you. So, us, and then you'll catch up later, but, you can just jump right in. I'm just giving them the back, story on OEX so that it'll make sense why this is like the right next step for us bringing you guys in. All right. And so, yeah, so basically I, told them, hey, let's give it a try. We're going to try this. Of course, it meant like Jared and all these amazing filmmakers had to be in Richmond, like at ODAR 30. The thing about Richmond is that we don't have the technology, obviously, to live stream like we do at Spotsy. So what we actually do, which is what you will experience, is they come out pretty early. Literally, like, trucks are still unloading. So like, you girls, Regine, Precious, this is your language because you know this life. Trucks are unloading. People aren't even in their church clothes yet. And, I think Regine, you actually one Sunday, you were there when I was, recording. And so, it's awesome. I think it's so beautiful for our online viewers to see that we are one house, many rooms, some permanent, many more are set up, tear down, and really honors the dream team. I think it gives a really great opportunity to show people, as Pastor said at Dream Team Party, that it is not built on the talents of a few, but truly the sacrifice of many. And so, for the summer, at one point we were kind of brainstorming, like, who are some amazing communicators, not just in Life Point, like, Precious, the radio station, like all the other areas that you are using your communication gifts. How could we incorporate some new people over the summer? As we know, the summer is the best time, right? To try new things. And then for me also, I do kind of miss being able to go to other locations, and so, selfishly, this was my idea, obviously. And so what I pitched to them was, I said, well, what if we had somebody from the other locations, not me, somebody that represents that location to host the online experience. And I just obviously, like this call, kind of give you the vision of what it is currently, because in Life Point culture, we're always changing, right? So what it is right now as we stand, but also just, partnering with you guys. You're already great communicators, but just so that you fully feel ready to host from your campus. So it's really a highlight of your location. It's a great opportunity for you to just invite people. So if you watch online, we do have the pre-recorded campus pastors, right, on a rotation, doing kind of something like that, where they're saying, hey, my name's Gerald. I'm from the Richmond campus. I invite you to come join us here at Richmond. But I do think it's something special about it. It's not necessarily a campus pastor. It's like a host, a mom, a wife, whoever, hosting and inviting. So with that said, that's how we ended up with the summer tour. And that's why it is the fourth Sunday. So in case you were wondering like how we even came up with the dates, that's typically my Sunday. And so we have other amazing hosts. We have Lauren Tennell, Liv Hall, and John Ronceville, who host on the other Sundays of the month. And so are you guys clear on your dates? So, Precious, you're first up in June. Yep. I'm excited. Yep. You ready for that?
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. And then, Ashley, I had you in July. And reason being is July is like paint the town red. There's a lot happening. And Regine, I know you're like newly in your role. And so I was strategically not trying to add like one more thing for you. Sorry, Ashley, you get to get more things. But I had Ashley in July.
I love more things.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I can show you my
Oh, girl, look at
one
this.
here
Okay.
too.
You see this? I've deep cleaned bathrooms and done laundry. It's ridiculous. Okay. So just in case you're wondering, I did strategically put Ashley for July. And it will be from Fred. And then obviously Regine, super excited. Like didn't even know when I asked you even all that was happening and transpiring with you coming on staff and all of that. And so it'll give an opportunity from Culpeper, for you to get to host from Culpeper. And so, yeah, that's how we came up with the schedule. As far as if you're like me, even beyond how to host, you're thinking like family, like how do I plan for my family? So I just wanted to give you guys a little insight. Typically, when it's from Richmond, I arrive at 6:30 at the location. Ashley, this actually would be good for you to hear because when we used to do it live, we got there early, but we had like plenty of time before like we really went go time. With this, it's not like that. You will arrive early, but basically those guys are ready. They're ready to record you. Now, the beauty is like, if it's your first time and you're like, I hate that. Can we do that again? Of course, they can literally, that's the beauty of that. But it is early, so I would just encourage you. This isn't like it used to be where we like show up to the campus, haven't done our makeup yet, kind of like, all right, let's run through it. Let's talk. I'm going to go get ready. No, like you're coming ready. Hair done, makeup done, ready to go. Okay. Jared did tell me, I'm going to just confirm on my notes. He did ask me for you guys, if we could bump it a little earlier. And the reason being was that because it's new for you guys, he just wanted to make sure if you needed to do a couple takes that you had time. So what his team does is when you arrive, obviously it's remote, it's portable. So it'll be, likely Jamaica and Jared and James. And they basically like portable holding the light, camera, the whole thing, right? And, but you won't have a confidence monitor like we have at Spotsy. So if you've ever seen at Spotsy, we've got that big old TV where, with all the fancy things. It's none of that. So, I personally think that's fine because I think it's less nerve wracking because you don't have to look at clocks and all these. You literally just have someone with a 3-minute countdown going, all right, go, do your thing. But just so for reference, like there won't be any cheat code. What you can do that I used to do back in the day was a lot of our, what you do with hosting, none of it's scripted, like I said, but we do have pretty consistent talking points. Like you always will introduce yourself. We always welcome first time guests. We always use the same prompt, LC online, and all of this I will type up and send to you. So don't worry. This call's not about that. But, where you have freedom is depending on your month. Whatever Brittany communicates to me is that Sunday's big push. And for you, Precious, Amar does this for the CPs. And so it may differ from what Amar is telling CPs. Case in point, this past Sunday, the push was growth track because it was happening real time at the campus. Well, we didn't push that very much because realistically, they're not there, right? So, basically the only thing that differs is whatever that push is. And I would coach you through that. So Jared asked if you guys, and I'll confirm the week of your hosting if he changes his mind, but he did ask if you could be there at 6 a.m. on your Sunday. And so here's the cool thing. Once you're done, like you're done for the whole morning. So like depending if you want to go home and come back for church or like Ashley, I was thinking of you and Regine. You don't have to like find coverage from the other things that you do typically on the campus, right? I know I thought of Regine, Kids Point Day. Oh my gosh, that was like crazy. So if you were hosting, let's say at Spotsy, like Dakari in the past, when he's hosted, I told him, you're not the youth guy today. You're OEX because I need you focused on OEX. Well, you guys don't have to worry about that because you'll be done and you'll be able to go do whatever it is that you do from 7 a.m. on. So, for family's sake, obviously, with kids and that, I'll just be completely transparent. I don't know that everybody can do this, but usually my boys just come with me because Birch is there too, right? But if you have the opportunity to have someone maybe partner with you, come with you, or be at home so they don't have to come out because Precious, yours are little. That would be much harder. But mine, I can just be like, grab a banana, let's go. We're going. But I bring my boys and, so that's basically it's the time commitment is 6 a.m. and as long as it takes you to get it knocked out. I don't anticipate it would take you more than 30 minutes if I'm being totally honest. I will be there as well. So, your girl will be doing my own sleepover tour because there's no way that I'm driving from Richmond. But just so that you know, I'll be there as well. And it's really honestly just because I just want to, like, I just want to be there in person. I want to get to see your campus. I haven't decided if I'm staying the whole morning, just yet. It all depends on my kids. My hope would be that I would. That I'd get to be with, like, say, Precious, see you do it, hang out, see set up, and then stay for service. Same thing, Fred, and then obviously Culpepper. But just so you know, I'm there. Jared told me if you want me to co-host with you, I can, but I don't think I need to. I actually am really excited to just watch you guys shine. You guys cool with that? Okay, cool. I was like, I don't think I told them I was co-hosting. I really just wanted to be you guys. So yeah, 6 o'clock, 30-minute commitment. And then basically what that team does is they take the video and they send it off to Foodie. So come 9:30 and 11:15, that's what's going to come on. Okay. Any questions so far as far as, okay, cool. As far as how to prepare, because his arrow is being trifling right now. Ashley, you didn't see Birch's computer is like, it's checked out for the day. Like it's not letting me do things very efficiently. I was going to share screen and show you Planning Center, but my first question would be, does everybody have access to Planning Center? Great. So Precious, I did give Jared your email. And so he told me he can easily add you. Worst case, I would just ask Amar if you can have him just log in for you. So that would just be my plan B. I'm going to remind Jared, but if he's unable to, I would just lean on Amar and say, hey, can you just like show me how to see what's happening on this particular Sunday? And so basically, how we do it, it's pretty straightforward I may record a video to send you guys since I can't do anything right now. But when you go on Planning Center, what we've tried to do is make it to where literally you click on the order of service now and where you see welcome or you see next steps, which would be campus pastors in person, but also that's us, right? For online, you just click on it. When you click on welcome, of course, it's not ready for your month yet. But what you would see when you click on welcome within that built, order of service, you should have the LifePoint news video in there. It should tell you what the talking points, like what is the main thing. Brittany creates a document called OEX host notes. And so it's one document that has like every date of that month. And then basically whatever the big thing is that she wants us to talk about, right? Like I said, separate from this call, I will reach out to you guys individually and ask. Typically what I do with the host currently is I connect with them the week leading up to that Sunday. So basically, Wednesday is typically when I will say, hey, what's a great time for us to jump on a call so we can make sure that you've looked over, you know where to find stuff, and you feel good to go. You can ask questions. And then, of course, like I said, I'll also be there, which is an advantage that the hosts don't have right now. I don't go to Spotsy. So if worst case, you had a question, we could knock that out that morning. Okay. So basically, Ashley, I actually shared before you jumped on, I stole this from Ashley. Basically, what is the vision of the online that is different from campus pastors in the room? Well, basically, the assumption is not that they're lazy and they didn't come to church. I know there was a time, I've literally sat in meetings where we were like, well, they just need to come to church. Well, no, as we've seen, there are people faithfully tuning in from other states, even other countries. I personally have had sick kids, wished I'd rather be at church putting my kids in Kids Point, but ended up watching online. And so, basically what I love that Ashley one day just, when she was hosting, she threw this term out there and I've just run with it ever since is we are a virtual foyer. Like basically what we are as online hosts is we are a virtual foyer experience that helps whoever's watching know that there is a right next step that they can take. Okay. If it's small groups, well, guess what? You're going to text LC online. You're going to click small groups and we have online groups. And if we don't, we'll figure out a way to help you find a church that you can go be a part of a small group, right? Baptism Sunday. Our hosts have learned to now say, hey, we have baptisms happening, but if your next right step is baptism, can you let us know? We would love to help figure out a way to have you be able to take this step in your area. Flavor. If you guys watched last Sunday, Liv got to cast vision on, hey, maybe you don't live here. Plan a girls trip. Come in town. I texted Alicia and said, let's make sure that the Flavor site has recommended hotels and different things, assuming that people are coming from out of town. And so whatever we're talking about, we are doing it with the person out of town in mind, helping them realize that they can take the next step. Just like CPs, we introduce ourselves. We always highlight and celebrate first-time guests. We used to drop emojis. Have you guys ever seen when we're like, drop that 100 emoji in the chat? Okay. So where we've landed currently is it's optional. If you're feeling like an emoji is the way to go, drop that emoji. It's usually the 100 emoji. The reason we haven't been pushing it as much is that there was a time we had online chat hosts. So the chat feature actually had hosts that were interacting with people beyond us on camera. Things like throwing in whatever the points were that pastor was giving in his message, or throwing, if someone needed prayer, they were sidebar connecting with the people and partnering with them in prayer. So those hosts have all since come in person, which is wonderful. And so when there was no team anymore to mitigate the chat, the decision was made that we weren't going to keep doing that, that we really, outside of like, hey, if you want to go ahead and welcome somebody, like during the message, we didn't want all that chatter and all that distraction happening. And so the emoji is optional. You can say drop the emoji, but what is the key thing is we say text LC online to 94,000. And so if you are taking notes now, write down LC online, and I encourage you to text that tonight so you can see what they see when they text that prompt. It's basically like locations, growth track. It says gave my life to Jesus. Like it has all the different prompts. And so the reason I encourage you to text that is I'm just a big believer. If I'm going to tell somebody to go somewhere, I kind of want to know where I'm sending them, right? So that's really the main thing is that we use that prompt. Oh, let me admit Ashley again. Here we go. We use that prompt LC online to 94,000. Something new we've been doing is we've been also encouraging people, even if it's not your first time, maybe you tune in Sunday after Sunday and you have yet to connect with us. I want to encourage you to text LC online because we believe there is a next right step for everybody. And so, some that we don't often, that's not language used by the campus pastors, right? Obviously. So, and then outside of that, whatever the big push is, and then we encourage people as always, hey, we're going to go back into the message, depending if there's a series happening. I know over the summer we have a lot of, just separate what do we call them, Ashley? One, standalone. Is that the language? Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
have
standalone Sunday.
yeah, so we'll probably be in the midst of a lot of standalone Sundays. You don't have to worry about introducing who the person is because pastor typically does that in a video or if he's in person. But you can, if time allows, kind of, hey, we're going to get ready to go back into a time of worship. And so I'll coach you guys individually on that. The next steps, this part I will say, um, it's happened a couple times, especially I have a feeling because it's summer standalones and pastor, I'm assuming will be on his summer vacation sabbatical, that you do need to be prepared to give the gospel. Typically, whoever is preaching gives the gospel. And when we jump in for next steps, we're more like, hey, if you made that decision, here's your prompt. But I would just encourage you that it's likely you will be giving the gospel. And so I'm actually after this call, I'm gonna text you guys, well, actually, I'll just send you the specific messages that are already in our archive of sermons where you can watch the full experience. And whether it's myself, I know John Ronceville has given the gospel, for online experience. It's really like you would give the gospel, but the only difference is because you can't see the people. It's just the, timing of it where you're like, okay, let's all pray together, for the benefit of those praying for the first time. Yes, even online, right? Hey, if you're driving, keep your eyes open. Please don't close your eyes. But hey, repeat after me. Well, you're not going to hear them. So the only tension to manage when we do this is that we give it time. But if that freaks you out, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to give the gospel on a recorded thing that feels super inauthentic, whatever was running through your head, just don't worry. That's part of what I'll coach you guys on. You may get there on your Sunday, and by then Amy or Jared will have confirmed that the person delivering the message is going to give the gospel. And whatever information I get, I will always pass on to you. But there are Sundays where we don't know until literally that moment. And if we are not sure, because it's a guess, we will err on the side of them having you record it. And then if the person does, they'll just not use that part, if that makes sense. Okay. I just want to prepare you guys for that because typically the hosts don't do that. Okay. And then it's just celebrating salvation, reminding them how they can partner with us financially. I love to encourage people when you talk about giving that you think of something to connect. So obviously I had Liv last weekend say, hey guys, remember how we gave away 2 free flavor tickets to, the winner online, and at every location we gave away, hey, listen, we are able to do that because of the generosity of this church. Hey, Paint the Town Red's coming up. It's because of the generosity. So I like to give people an actual tangible thing that ties to the giving besides just, hey, and you came prepared to give today. And believe it or not, there's people who they watch church and they give. And then we just encourage them to join us in person. We always close with, hey, we want to encourage you if you are near one of our locations, come join us in person, come say hi. If not, we'll see you right back here. Next steps, we don't try to give too many announcement things. But depending on the Sunday, if there is something we want you to remind them, like back in Kid Conference, it was hey, don't forget parents. I encourage you, register. It will sell out. But outside of that, it's usually just celebrate salvation, giving, and then obviously we hope you join us in person. Otherwise, I'll see you right back here. And so that's kind of the flow. Okay. It's not really a whole lot. Regine, when I trained you for Flavor, girl, you had pages and pages of things this is going to be nothing easy. Precious, you haven't hosted for us, for online, but you've done the news, right? I feel like.
No, I did the annual report.
The annual report.
She
Okay.
just hosts during the week every week though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, literally. Literally.
No big deal.
Yeah. I love it. I love
Okay.
it. Yeah. And that's why I wasn't worried. And then actually you hosted with us in the past. It's just shifted from, it really is like big time virtual foyer and, just encouraging next steps, which is like your jam. So I think it's like so perfect. Any questions on anything that I shared so far? Does that help?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
It was
Go ahead.
very helpful. Thank you. So I just kind of watch Shamar and like how he'll give information in regards to like the welcome and the close and stuff like that. And when he and I talk about like putting me on the schedule, my question is always, okay, this is very scripted. And I think to myself, like with the radio, I always have notes, but I wing it, like whatever the spirit tells me to do. And so I think for this, that's my question is like, you're going to give us like talking points. And as long as we stay within the talking points, like we can make it our own language is what I'm hearing.
Girl, that is literally that is what we do. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I think it's great that you have that vision because you've seen like what Amar will do is he'll literally script out for the CPs. Which I think it's because they prefer that, like they want that. We don't. I actually had the coolest opportunity last week to connect with one of our online viewers. I got word that it was a particular person, lives in Florida, watches every Sunday. She goes to church in person, but she just loves LifePoint. Like she just watches every Sunday. And I was able to get on a phone call with her because I wanted to know why. Why does she watch? And what does she like about it? If there's areas we can improve. And to answer your question, Precious, one of the things that she said she loves because she apparently watches other churches as well that literally have a paid staff that do this, right? And it's like very programmed and very scripted and all the things. And what she told me she loves about LifePoint is it feels very personal, very relational, very welcoming. It doesn't feel scripted. And I was like, yeah, good, because it's not. And what I asked her is I said, well, what do you think makes it feel personal? And she said, the host, it's you guys. Everybody's so different. Lauren Tennell is a whole different vibe from John Ronceville. Totally different vibe from Liv Hall. Totally different vibe from me. And so I love that you asked that question because absolutely, like your talking points too, when you see like it's not a lot. It's like literally like flavor, livepoint.org/flavor. Like, and basically what I tell my host, like I just love getting to watch the 8 o'clock later. I told Liv, go to that link and you decide what's the most important thing to share. But keeping in mind somebody who's not here, right? Somebody out of town. And it was like so beautiful. Like she like thought of things I never would have thought of. And that's because we gave her that freedom to not like, this is what you need to say, right? The only thing we told her was, hey, let the ladies know we've picked the winners. So if you're like waiting for free 99, it's not going to happen. So make sure you buy your tickets because there's no free tickets. We've already contacted the winners. That was the only thing that I told her she had to say was like who the winner was and the fact that if you didn't get it and you're waiting, you didn't win. So go buy your ticket. But outside of that, it's like very much like, please just make it relational. The chat, you can engage with the chat as much as you want. Now, we don't see it because we're way early. We're pre-recorded. We can't really engage with it like, oh, I see Florida and all the things we used to do. But what you could do is engage the chat to say, I'm just going to think, John Ronceville posted on daylight savings. And he said, hey, if you're anything like me, I've had 4 cups of coffee already this morning. Why don't you let us know in the chat how many cups of coffee you've had today? Why did he do that? Not because we care how many cups of coffee, but he was trying to like gauge, hey, are you paying attention? Are you washing dishes, mom? Are you chasing your kids? Like, come on, let's get you a little, once the message starts, we don't worry about the chat because we've decided we want them focused. We don't want them. One of the things that the person I spoke to last week that watches that she said, I think some people just chat just to chat. And I was like, yeah, no, exactly. We don't want that anymore. So that's a great question. No, it's, now what I will say is you will have access on Planning Center when you look in the order of service at our notes. I do encourage the host to look at our MARs as well. Because Amar does do a video for the CPs where and his is more of like a, hey, literally because I've watched them all the time. Hey, this and this is coming. And that's more because the CP is in the room. He needs to know all those little details. But I do see the value of still watching his video and reading his script. Just because again, we can still take from it something maybe that I might miss or Brittany might have missed in her document. Maybe he got information like literally real time that I didn't get. So I would still encourage you to look at his stuff, but no, don't strip yourself out. It actually will really mess you up, especially for a pre-record, because then you're going to be, oh, I messed up. And you're like, well, people watching don't know that. They have no idea what you're going to say. So don't worry. I love that. Whatever the Spirit's leading you to, I encourage my hosts to be praying. I tell people for the one, to the one. When I host, it is first and foremost for him. It's not me, but also I'm always praying, God, who is, if it's one person that I'm going to say something that's going to connect, please like guide my words to that. I don't want to just be information. I want to offer information that leads to action and helps them in their journey. Okay. So that's a great question. Okay. Any other questions? No? Yeah. So basically tonight, I just wanted to kind of help you guys feel like, understand like, okay, why are we doing the summer tour thing? Again, we thought it'd be fun. Highlight your campus. I would encourage too, when you're hosting, I'm going to again send you the ones that I've done from Richmond. And, I often will say I'm coming to you from the Richmond campus. The first Sunday that I did that, it was like so dark in the room and they were like, testing out the screens. I don't even know the terminology, guys, but the worship team and the production had the big, projector on the background and whatever they were doing was throwing like codes and colors on the screen. And that was the background when I was hosting. And I literally was like, and as you can see, like these are things that are happening right now in our Richmond campus to prepare for church later this morning. I didn't pretend like it was live, in case you were wondering about that too. We don't pretend that it's live. We're very much like, hey, my name's Precious, coming in from the Stafford campus. Right now, our dream team is setting up for church later this morning. Hey, maybe you're in Stafford. Good news, get in your car, come drive on over, come say hey. So just be very real, be you. There's no pretending and no performing, with the online. And yeah, and then just be prepared to the extent that you can let the Spirit flow. If you're prepared with the things you need to know, then I think it's going to be so fun. 3 minutes goes by very fast, at least for me, because I love to talk. So I just warn you for that. I encourage you guys, when I do connect with you closer to your Sunday, to practice at least once with a timer before Sunday with the 3 minutes. Again, not to be scripted, but just so that you at least know that you have time to kind of map out your thoughts. I've done it enough times that like I can they can give me 10 seconds and I'm like, all right, land the plane, done, right? The beauty of what you guys get to do too is if the clocks are wonky at Fred, it does not affect you. You guys get your full 3 minutes and then the next steps, there's no cap. The next steps, it's not like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. It's basically just say what you got to say. Don't go too long because most of us know that once service is done, we're like, we like kind of sign off the thing. But yeah, the feedback I also got was that they love seeing the background. So one of the feedback that I got was that she loves being able to see the foyer. She felt like if she was someone who was hesitant to go to church based on whatever they thought church was, that they love seeing the life of the Spotsy foyer. So what I would encourage you guys starting now, is that when you're getting ready to host that Sunday, tell your teams that are typically there at that time, one, don't be like super extra in the background, like, oh, now I'm really going to be, but also like, don't like tell them, don't be weird where like, if you see me recording and you're like, oh, like, no, just be real. If you are setting up pipe and drape, set it up. If you're walking back and forth, if your kids are here running around while you're setting up and it shows in the background, that's okay too. I had Liv tell TJ that this past Sunday to let the team know, hey, we're not asking you to be on camera. Like basically this is not an invitation to join us on the online spotlight, but please, we want to encourage the life of the foyer. And I can tell you, I tangibly noticed a difference this past Sunday. Like people were almost so close to the camera that I got a little nervous, but they weren't like, they were just hanging out. I saw one of the Kids Point volunteers pulling out her phone, having a casual conversation, giving someone her number. I could literally tell what was happening in the background. And so obviously with you guys, it's very early, but I would encourage people, tell them, don't look like you hate being here at 6 a.m. Maybe just, you can look tired, but like, hey, walk around, hug each other, good morning. So that'll just be something too that you guys can help me with leading up to that Sunday, is maybe just casting that vision with those setup teams that, hey, this is an opportunity to highlight our campus, but again, just be real and just be in the background, be there. And so I don't know where the film team will decide to record you guys from, depending at your location. I did ask Jared to reach out to the individual campus directors of your location, one, to let them know that you're coming, that we're coming, so it's not like a big surprise, like, what are you guys doing here? But also too, so they can partner with the campus director on where it is that they want to actually record from. Sometimes they do it in the auditorium. Sometimes they have me out in the foyer. So it all just depends on, what they're feeling, but also you can speak into that too. So like when we arrive that Sunday, if you're like, hey, I was preparing and, I think because it's about Paint the Town Red, I think we should host it from, I don't know, whatever you guys are thinking, know that you can speak into that as well. Okay. I think that's, really all I had for tonight. I just wanted to, kind of give you the vision for what it is currently and why we're bringing it to your location. I think it's going to be fun. Who knows? Maybe they like goes like really well and people are all of a sudden we have people starting to come to Culpeper and Stafford. And I mean, Fred, you don't need any help getting people there, but maybe just highlighting, can be something really fun that who knows, maybe in the future, instead of it always being in Richmond from like September through May, maybe if you guys love it so much, we can be like, hey, would you want to do this every couple months where I kind of pop in? So just be thinking about that. That of course is assuming Jared wants to do that. I think Jared would prefer to go to you guys than come to Richmond. But I think it's a great opportunity and I'm so grateful. I just want to acknowledge, I don't think anyone in this call is sitting around with like nothing to do. And when I tap you on the shoulder, yeah, right? Like, I just want to acknowledge that I do know you guys wear a lot of hats and you have a lot going on. And so I do appreciate that you would even be willing to do this. And I just hope that, yeah, I bless, as much as I hate getting up early because I am not an early morning girl. Every time I do it, I honestly can tell you, I just love it. I really love what I get to be a part of. I love hearing stories. John Ronceville was at a soccer game and a little girl came running up to him and said, I saw you on TV. I was watching church and I saw you on TV. Some random girl at the soccer game that he coaches Raya's soccer team. And so these are those really cool moments that I'm hoping for you guys that it's just a great opportunity to get to love on people watching online and really pray, whether it's Life Point or a local church in their area, that they would be so moved by how personal it is that they would get plugged into a church, get in community. And so, yeah, that's really all I have for tonight. Any other questions? You guys feel good as far as times and preparing? Okay, cool. So what I'll do is, my promise to you is I'll send you a couple of the messages so you can go back and watch that and see what that kind of feel is from a portable location. And then also I will reach out to you guys. Is it okay if I reach out to you the week of, or do you like, would any of you prefer like, hey, Lauren, can you give me like a couple weeks? Is it okay if I just reach out the week of? Okay, cool. Great. So what I'll do is I'll text you on a Monday to give you time, and I'll say, hey, is there a time, any time before obviously Sunday that you and I can jump on a quick, it could be a phone call, and just make sure that you were able to find the resources. And if you want to go over your talking points with me, and then yeah, just confirm times that we're good to go for that Sunday. Cool. Yep. You have a question, Reggie?
Are you gonna still send the just like the basis talking points to us through the text? Just like, hey, really rough, but like LC 94,000, and then like there's the giving portion, then there's just, without like the things that are probably coming up, like, paint the town red in July, like those things will probably be like, you're gonna tell them like the week of, but just like general, like bare bones, like.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I can absolutely, it's not typically in there, because everybody's kind of a veteran now, but I will absolutely do that. What I can do for you guys, next week, if that's okay, I can send you guys just like a quick little document that has the very standard talking points. Like I said, introduce self. Last tidbit is when you introduce yourself, you introduce yourself as one of our online experience hosts. So whatever your typical role is, you wouldn't say, I'm Regine, Kids Point Director for Culpeper. Because someone watching, that isn't your host for them that day. But yes, I can do that because Brittany's notes will not have all of those things. It will literally just have what that one big push is. So that's a great question. Yes, I will definitely do that. And let me actually write that down. Anything else you guys want me to send you in the meantime, or do you guys feel good just kind of popping in Planning Center, taking a look? So you're going to go to the order of service, okay? Just go to the order of service and click on those things. Sound good? All right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys. This is recorded, so I'm going to try to bring this trifling arrow down so I can stop it. And then once Birch, because I don't know how to do these things, once he converts it for me, I will send the recording your way. Sound good? Awesome. Can I pray to close this out? All right. Awesome. God, we love you, and I just thank you. I thank you for these women. I thank you for the families that they represent. God, I thank you for their willingness to serve you in this way. I know that these women carry many, many, many responsibilities, and I know that they are servants, and I know that they serve you in many other ways. But I thank you, Jesus, that you have given them a desire and a capacity to be able to serve in this way. I pray that as they prepare, God, that you would just give them just a clear vision on who it is that they're speaking to, and that this would be an opportunity, God, to help people who perhaps right now are choosing isolation and not being in person, to have an opportunity and encounter with them that moves them to want to be in community. And so I pray for the families they represent. I pray health. I pray as school is closing out and summer is gearing up. God, I just pray that you would grace them for just all the things that they are carrying. And I just thank you for them. And we thank you for this opportunity again, God, to be able to connect with our online viewers. We pray believing that every one of them has a purpose and has a next right step, and it would be an honor to help them be able to walk towards that next step together. God, we love you. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, ladies, have a great night. Any questions? You have my phone number. Shoot me a text, okay?
Thanks so much, Lauren. Appreciate you.
Of course. Bye.